All right, I just spent almost a half hour reading Facebook posts and not recording. Um, I tried to go live, and I lost my internet connection as soon as I connected up to going live, and I am now kind of like I am like all read out. I'm going to be rereading these things again. There is one post that I'm going to probably even just skip through because it's too hard to explain. I don't have the permission from the people who are mentioned in it, and I'm going to try to give the simplest form of it I possibly can. I use a lot of metaphors in that freaking stupid ass post, and I don't have, like I said, I don't have the permission from the person that I'm talking about. And if I had that permission, then I would actually talk about it like that, and I just read it straight because it's very confusing and very crazy. And like I said, it took me almost 15 minutes to try to get through it because I kept changing it back to what I wanted it to be originally. The post that I originally wanted to post was about me being people's friends, and people should have a person like me as their friend that they can turn to and do things with like that. And instead, I was talking about that person, the person I want to be for other people. That I saw that person, I was describing the person I have in my life. Actually, I have two people like that in my life. So now I have two people I'm trying to describe. Can't use either of their names. It's crazy. I didn't record a damn thing. So here I am just talking, and nothing's recorded. And I am just going absolutely crazy now because it was like I was burning through these days pretty quickly, and now I have to start. I'm going to pretend that it is now 6:30. The half hour is over, so that we're going to be starting there. So we'll be finishing at 7:30. Okay, let's begin. Let's do this. December 18th, 2014. Stereo blind. I cannot see 3D images in 3D movies, 3D books, holograms, or anything else that uses two-dimensional space to present a 3D image. Basically, if it's flat to me. I don't see anything rising. I don't see any depth inside the page. It doesn't go in, doesn't come out. It stays as the page. If the movie costs more to see it in 3D, it's basically a waste of time and the additional cash. Yeah, it's not worth it to watch a three-dimensional movie, to put on the 3D glasses for me. I'm now at the point where I don't like it. I used to love those glasses. I think I'm going to actually talk about how I love the glasses. In 1983, I saw my first 3D movie. I love the fact that I had to wear special glasses. Yep. Yes, I'm a nerd. Because I thought that they were way cool. The movie was called Treasure of the Four Crowns. It was a horrible movie. The movie was blurry with red and blues, without the glasses on, clear with them on. My brothers thought this was an awesome movie and talked at length about how the rope was, coming at you and the dagger, flew right towards you where you were dodging it. I didn't see any of that. I went along with it, but I didn't see what was so amazing. It was poorly shot, horribly acted, and I wondered if it even had a script or they just wanted to waste film making it. I still liked the paper glasses with the blue and red lenses. Okay, it was the only thing I liked. I hated that movie a lot. Didn't like it even at the time that I saw it. And just watching everybody being excited about it made it even worse. For me, because it was when I realized that there was something was definitely amiss around here where three-dimensional stuff is concerned, because I used to think that three-dimensional things were just basically like how you draw for depth in a picture, like how you pretend it's 3-dimensional, but it's always remained flat to me. It always has. And I've never. They said with for art, that could work out really really well, or it'd be very difficult because you have to learn perspective. You have to fine tune your artist eye to perspective. I am just making a mess of everything here. Okay. Just making a mess around all around. Oh my god, I can't believe I just spent a half hour talking about nothing. Actually, I talked about everything, but none of it was filmed. So redoing this stuff is just going to make me crazy. I should just read it. Over the years, many more movies, comic books, holograms have appeared before me. I never could understand what the big deal was. I mean, seriously, nothing. Nothing actually leaped off the screen or from the pages, and wearing the glasses did become annoying and less cool. But everyone kept on about how awesome it was, and it took me a long time to realize that I was not seeing the same thing. A doctor, I can't forget the doctor's name. I was in New Jersey. One of the times I came back from New Jersey, and I had just finished living in Florida. And the doctor, we were talking about how I don't see that, this. I don't see the 3-dimensional images. I think I have depth perception. I think my depth perception's off, but that's not. Even the doctor said that it doesn't. It's not that I can't live in a 3-dimensional world. It's that I don't see 3-dimension from 2-dimension. If that makes sense. Stereo blind. I am definitely having a day today. Basically what she's telling me is I do not have a dominant eye. I do not have a right eye or a left eye that's dominant over the other, and because of that, the red and blue, so even like wearing the glasses in reverse, sometimes, because that's how that works, you can put the glasses on in reverse, and that should fix it. It didn't do it for me, so it could be the fact that I don't have it. It's because I'm ambidextrous, and like I said, one of my eyes does not dominate over the other. Let's see. Not so great for watching a 3D film. The term for this is stereo blind, but this also includes people who have no depth perception. People who don't have depth perception at all in the 3-dimensional world are also considered stereo blind. People who are colorblind, especially blue-green, which is the most common of color blindness. People who are blue-green colorblind, or orange or red-orange colorblind, tend to also have stereo blindness when it comes to watching 3-dimensional movies and stuff like that. One person even told me that the cure for this was LASIK surgery, and this is back when LASIK surgery was brand new and everything like that. And they would give me 20/20, and at the time I had 20/15 vision, so why would I want my 20/15 vision to be 20/20? That's an insane thing. The question becomes, am I losing out because I do not experience movies the same way as everyone else? I like special effects in movies, but they aren't the reason that I actually watch any movie. Poorly done effects can ruin a film for me, but as the film is tight, the script is well written, and the actors actually seem like they believe the characters, which will then in turn cause me to believe in them, I can overlook poorly done effects and not have the film ruined. If the film is lacking in the other areas, like the script, pacing, all those things that make a good film for me, Like I said, sometimes effects makes great film. People love films that have effects in them. It's the reason why the uh, um, special effects in film dominates. It absolutely dominates it because special effects brings the box office in. It's as much as I could hate a film, if it has good effects in it, it's going to be a very popular film. There's no way around it. Especially some of the cutting edge technology that people are doing. I'm impressed by it, but if it doesn't help the story, it's basically a waste of an effect. And some of these effects cost millions of dollars. And I used to do practical effects, and I always laugh because here they are, they're spending $2 million or $3 million, they're rendering on thousands of dollars, you know, these machines, they're running on machines that cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars, um, and it's taking a lot of time when they could be doing reshoots. And I look at it like I could have just done that practically and made a practical effect of it, and you could have just edited it instead of having to have so much, um, basically CGI. Having so much in your film CGI that it's almost unrecognizable as even real anymore. CGI is good. There's a lot of shortcuts and stuff like that. I can definitely see why people would use it, but when it becomes the main focus of your film and the reason that your film is taking too long to get done, I think you're doing something wrong, in my opinion. Practical effects artists like myself are literally a dying breed. So here I am. I'm defending something that's basically going the way of the dodo. Um, but yeah, so that's pretty much it. Um, Anything else in this? If the film is lagging in those areas, and it relies only on the 3D, only on the special effects or 3D filming to carry the movie. The movie's already ruined before I buy a ticket. Yeah, the movie's already done. I don't even need to watch it. I Movies like that, in my opinion, don't even get into the "it's so bad it's good" category, and I like films that are so bad they're good. So I am definitely on the bandwagon of that. This next part took me like almost 30 minutes to even describe, so I'm just gonna go December 19th. Oh, this isn't it. This is something else. December 19th, 2014. Bring on the tabletop games. I love games. If you can tell, if you're watching any of the Playing With series, you can tell that I love I love tabletop games. I like the actual. Here I am, anti-computer again. I do like video games, and I love a lot of video games. I find them to be still very stagnant. I find them to be very one directional. Even Cyberpunk 2077, a few games like Daggerfall, where you can basically do anything that you want to do. Those are basically limited only because the maps become very small because they're condensing so much stuff into them. On the flip side, I would prefer games like Dungeons and Dragons, which is I say is my first love. I've mentioned my on-off love affair with Warhammer 40K, and you definitely see me doing the orcs with the miniatures and stuff like that. Miniature gaming is great for me. I like character building. I like board games. I like all those things, and I even get into this whole thing about where chess and checkers and stuff like that. They are to me like the video games, where it's very stagnant. You have only one. There's only certain moves you can make. You can't make any others, and yes, there's strategic value to it, but it's still just. And then of course there's ROLE playing versus ROLL playing, which when you spend a lot of time throwing dice it it's something gets lost in the mix of it. I talked about how I used to do death dungeons, which I don't even know why I even mentioned those because they're not really part of my love of tabletop games. They are definitely one of the reasons why I got out of them, and maybe that's why I went into 2 paragraphs of describing it. I dabble in games. And I did my wish for 2005. I'm sorry it wasn't recorded because it is what it is. Um, do, 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 do. I would, yeah. Basically, what I would love is I would love to have a role playing game anytime. Anybody wants to do it, we can do it through Zoom. We can do it through whatever. Any storytelling type game, I'm in. I'm in. I'm all in. I am 100% in. I actually don't care about it's probably why I have an on again, off again relationship with Warhammer 40K because that basically just is like, eliminate your opponent type of game. And there's so many games out there do that. Now we get into December 20th. This is the post that I was trying to talk about. I want to get right to it. I know I don't have 15 minutes left. Maybe I will cut this off at the 30-minute mark. But everybody needs hope. And the hope goes into what I was talking about at the beginning of this video. It is basically like your Jiminy Cricket, Pinocchio's Jiminy Cricket. That was one of the metaphors that I used. But it's so much more than that. I mean, I know people have best friends and things like that, but when you have somebody that you can basically just unload everything, and even if they do voice their opinion, how tired of they are with you just complaining or whatever, they still will put up with it. And I like you need somebody that likes you for who you are, not for who they want you to be or who they think you could be, just who you are. And when you have somebody like that in your life, it makes everything easier. And like I said, one of the things that like I said in the beginning, is one of the things that I've always tried to do. Like I said, I can't even read half of this stuff because it really gets into not personal stuff, but more stuff with my best friends, and I guess I don't have permission to use to use them. So basically, it is not a difficult thing to do, but I think that it's more than a best friend. It's literally like somebody who likes you for exactly who you are, and not even just like you. The person that basically doesn't have a problem telling you that your fly is down, for example. Something stupid, or your shirt's inside out. Something that everybody walks on eggshells around you for some reason, and they don't have a chance, to embarrass you. I have, I got into the whole thing about stage fright and stuff like that, but I can get embarrassed. I will get embarrassed. I have made a fool of myself. There's a reason why, like, just recently I posted the song "Tempted" by Squeeze, and I talked about like something that I've never used, and I actually, well, I don't know if it actually did work. It is hearsay. I'm here. I always heard it secondhand. That a guy actually used that. I have big hands. Would you like a hamburger? Use that exact line to go out on a date with a girl, to pick up a girl. That stupid line, and I did promise when I heard it that I would use it, and I have not. So That tells you, like, that I do have embarrassment. I mean, I don't have stage fright or anything like that, and I don't have the id basically trying to keep me in check, but I also don't have the ego to think that I'm, better or doing something tremendous in any way, shape, or form. So, but I am a narcissist and an egomaniac. So let that whole thing sink in with my humble bragging. December 21st, 2014, my Nana. This is not really a Seanism, but if there was ever a source that would look to where my attitude of no holds barred, take no prisoners, stand my ground, very matter of fact speaking comes from, I would have to start with my Nana. Of all my heroes, she was not only the first, but she remains at the top of my list of the people I admire, still look up to, and do the WWND, what would Nana do, for situations that are beyond my control or comprehension. A lot of my Seanisms are really just adjusted Nana-isms. One of the most difficult, this is one of the most difficult things for me to type. I was actually hoping that I would have finished before midnight, so I wouldn't have to post it. There are a lot of emotions that I keep to myself when I think about Nana. So getting distracted is easy and a defense mechanism. This doesn't justify my seemingly lack of emotions. It only displays me of holding back my emotions as the only way I know how to get through this post. Let's start with it's just stuff. I can't count the number of times she said this with me present. It was so common that even I have taken to using the phrase often. What it means to me is all the physical possessions in my life are even more temporary than my own life. It doesn't matter, and if a possession, be it my limited special edition copy of Blade Runner, is more important than my friendship with another person, that friendship has no value because the DVD is unimportant and basically worthless. Why would I want to spend or waste even a moment of my precious time on a person who I don't value? And if the DVD is more important to them than our friendship, the DVD is theirs. I don't need either in my life. I have such a short time to do the things on this planet. Conflicts over material things aren't even on the list because it's just stuff. Moving on to show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. When in school, be it grade school, high school, college, there's a large collection of people basically lumped together. It's easy to get distracted with those who have a lot of charisma, different thoughts, offering a wider view of the world. People I hung out with in all three of these different institutions really reflect the person I was and am. Being the sum of the company you keep is really amazing. It can also reflect ignorance, deep-rooted prejudice, and have your actions not reflect the person you are inside. When Nana first said this to me, I thought it was magic, real magic. And even a way to weed out the charlatans trying to invade my life. I've always preferred fewer close friends over large groups that are out of control. My nature makes me a people person and great with acquaintances, co-workers, single-serving friends, taken from Fight Club. But my inner circle is very small. And even though I'm a very outgoing, fun person to be around, or at least I think I am, the many times I've taken the Myers-Briggs test, I'm an introvert every time. I know it's difficult for people to distinguish the difference between my inner self is not fun-loving, nor is it outgoing at all. When I strip down, I don't wear my heart on my sleeve. I care very little about what others think of me. The outgoing person is simply a well-rehearsed persona. Not to say that the introverted side doesn't have a sense of humor or isn't humble, emotional, or caring. It's just difficult. It's just very different and very reflected by the company I do keep. I think I'll describe three and end with whammies. Um, the only time and the only thing that I could never decipher or explain as nothing short of magic. Like me, Nana had two sides. She was the Nana Rosanna Dana who loves bananas, which is her good witch side, and then there was Rena Witch, which, though not so wicked, certainly her spellcasting side, and where all the whammies come from. If I knew enough to document each time I saw her whammy someone, I could possibly collect now $1 billion and proof of real magic. I cannot think of one person she didn't whammy that weren't affected by her spell, and being the person who had witnessed it firsthand, I will say it was always very powerful, scary, and even though I would like to believe she never whammied me, I know that if she did, I would still be feeling the effects now. Because if she did cast the whammy on me, she would never have told me. Even though technically this is three, and these are three are just touching the surface, wrapped up as one, it's really just one. It's really just one small way for me to keep her alive and with me. It might sound a little crazy, but if I ever grow up, I would like to be just like my Nana. One comment, just a heart, and my response was, wow, you read that fast. December 22nd, 2014. Literally, karma. I am notorious for butchering not just the English language, but pretty much any language I have contact with, and not just on the written page, but in my speech as well. It's almost a game when I say something to see how people correct me. My favorite is when they emphasize the word back when given the answer to my statement. I almost always catch on and do make an attempt to correct my error. Over the years, there have been words when I hear them used incorrectly, irritates me beyond no end. I know that literally is in the dictionary as the aggressive thing, and I also know that karma is also in the dictionary as this, and I just want you to know I still don't accept that. Sorry if it's in the dictionary, it's still wrong. Literally, it's not figuratively. When I was in grade school, the teacher banned the use of the word like, and would even go so far as to interrupt a student by saying no, and then would ask another student for the answer. For any test or homework, she would circle anytime the like was anytime like was used, quote unquote like, was used, and took off 1 point from the grade for even if the word was used properly. I thought this was crazy until I noticed how much like was used. Almost as an trying to buy time to get the thought formulated. I use all the time. Thought formulated. Alright. After the first few weeks of class, especially with the large amount of protest from the class, I began to adopt correcting people who said like as well. First, it was a way to help me be aware that I was also using it, and then it was because I noticed that breaking a habit wasn't as easy as just stopping saying it. It took concentrated effort, not only to stop saying like, but as well, and I still use all the time. Okay, yes, I was a weird kid, If you didn't already know that by now, you haven't been paying attention. As time went on, words were added. At the same time, I was busy misspelling, mispronouncing, and even misusing an even greater number of words. So even though I'm a hypocrite, the irritation is no less real. Even though the word like was the first I targeted, it isn't even on the list of words that irritate me. The two biggest offenders are currently karma and literally. Though I use these words, it is when they're used improperly that gets my goat. And I recently found out that goat actually means greatest of all time. So it gets my greatest of all time. I didn't even realize that I had a goat before some irritations took it away. Karma. The sum of a person's actions in this and the previous states of existence viewed as deciding their fate and future existence. This is a very sacred spiritual belief that's also been desecrated to mean what comes around goes around. This would be like a Buddhist opening up a booth at a carnival with a big sign for sinners who want to get into heaven without salvation, only $20. And I hit you on the head with a Christian Bible and you're in. Seriously, that would be a joke. That would be a joke to them because they don't believe in heaven. If someone wants me to respect them for their beliefs, it's always a good start when it's always a good start when you respect others for theirs. When someone casually uses karma is a bitch. Karma will bite you in the ass. I'm actually offended, and I know that those that believe in karma are too polite to say anything. But people making the jokes say anything, but people are making jokes about a deep-rooted belief. Too polite is probably the wrong word. They don't want to build up negative karma in their next life by correcting people. Personally, I don't believe in karma, so I don't care about the consequences in my next life. But everyone, including myself, holds things very dear to them, and like karma to a Hindu, I wouldn't want anyone to make fun of my beliefs, even unintentionally, which I think is actually worse, as it shows the true character of a person saying it. And not only do I get irritated, I also lose respect for those that do use it. Because once it's said, basically all the things that they said no longer have any meaning. Karma is one of those things. What comes around goes around is so much different than karma. It's not karma. It's, somebody getting, instant karma. I mean, freaking John Lennon, which is probably one of the reasons why I don't care for John Lennon all that much, had a song called Instant Karma. Karma is, and he went to India. Karma is one of those ones that just it bothers me, and it bothers me that because somebody's not saying out loud how offensive that is. People think it's still okay, and because people think it's okay, it's like it's not okay. Even if somebody doesn't speak out loud that they're offended by it, still does not make it okay in my book. And that goes for everything across the board. But yeah, karma. Ooh, people use karma because they use it so casually, and it doesn't even have. Karma doesn't even have the meaning that they're trying to actually convey by using it. That's how bad it is. And the other one now, I'm going to get into it, which is literally freaking. So this actually means that what is said or written is or is actually happening exactly how it was said or written. Someone says they literally crapped their pants. That means that they need to change their pants because they're shitting them. If they literally had a cow, that means that they just gave birth or they puked up a whole cow. Not a calf, but an actually full-grown cow, which is actually a feat, and I would like to have seen and given. I would like to have seen it and make certain, because you would be famous and probably very wealthy by freaking puking up cows or birthing full-grown cows. Oh, you just meant that you were very upset. Thank you. You ruined my actual excitement, and I no longer wish to hear anything else that you have to say. If the plane crashes and literally fell on their head, they should be dead. I'm a very sarcastic asshole at times. I tend to take jokes a little too far, but there are some things in my life that need to remain true. If the neighbor's dog keeps crapping on your lawn and you say you literally step in shit every day, I want to believe that every day, at least once, when you are walking out your door, you need to clean your shoes off. This needs to be true, so I can react properly. If we change it to meaning frequently or figuratively, I personally don't care anymore if you only step in shit once. We all step in shit. I step in shit. I've stepped in shit before. Woo woo. So your neighbor's dog freaking crapped and you stepped in shit. I've stepped in shit a lot. So whatever. It happens. Shit happens. And it doesn't literally happen. Actually, shit does literally happen. But it has to be literal shit. Again, like karma, people who use to literally to emphasize something that makes me care very little about the things that they are trying to draw attention to in the first place. My icarometer will no longer register anything, and it doesn't even matter even if it's important in the first place. I really couldn't care less. I freaking look at that. There's a mistake right there. I could care less. If I could care less, that means I do care. Look at that. So stupid. I really couldn't care less is basically what it's supposed to be. And I know I meant to say I really couldn't care less. My irritation isn't really the use of the word, more along the lines of someone trying to trick me into being interested. So if you think it would be more interested if you have to say using literally instead of figuratively, now I not only am not going to give you interest, but I will be irritated enough to not be interested in anything else you have to say. These aren't the only two, but there's a lot more. Something just to demonstrate the lack of intelligence. And for those who know me, I'm a sucker for intelligent people. They make me feel smart. I don't like to surround myself with ignorance. I said it like this because mental intelligence is not equal. Those I feel should have the capacity to learn this and refused are ignorant. Those who either don't have the capacity or struggle to learn this, I still find just as intelligent and just as intelligent as book-learned people I know. Because I'm a hypocrite, probably not the right word. I certainly know that there are things that I say or type that can annoy people. For example, I used to type would of instead of would have. VE. I used to type OF instead of VE. Mainly because that's how I talked. I should have done my homework. I still say of instead of if. And I have to catch it every time I accidentally type it. So the reason why I correct people every time is because I want to be corrected when I do this. Yeah, that's pretty much my whole persona. December 23rd, you're almost done. Shaunophobia, the persistent and abnormal fear of me. This fear of Sean Hope does involve levels of fear that is beyond the patient's control and may interfere with their daily life. I obviously do not have this and believe it must be very rare since most people do not know who I am, and the knowledge of my existence must be present in order for someone to fear me at abnormal levels. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's talk phobias. Anyone could have an abnormal fear of just about anything. Have an aversion to spiders doesn't obviously make you an arachnophobic. There's what doctors and scientists call healthy and normal fears. Almost everyone has these usually close to normal fears levels, which is means it doesn't interfere with your daily life. It's actually taken me a very long time to understand this, partly because I don't have the natural self-preservation gene that causes fear. I've always believed that if someone is afraid to do something, handle something, or be in the same room with something potentially harmful, they have a phobia of it. I also have always misunderstood what phobophobia meant. This would be in the inheriting fear, any of them, would be persistent and cause panic, distress, and interfere with my daily life. I do not have this all. In fact, I have a conscious effort to try to determine if a situation is actually dangerous. In other words, I'm completely fearless. And yeah. And everybody thinks that that's great. Sean, I can't believe you would say you're fearless. No, I'm fearless to a detriment. I don't think people realize that. Over the years, I've met a lot of people who either don't believe me or think that I'm actually awesome. I think that's actually awesome that my brain, body, and heart can't comprehend what being afraid actually is. Usually, or at least I think, the first impression I make of people is of being very shy or reserved. This is actually a ruse, a well-rehearsed character I play, and this is the only attempt I try to make to not hurt someone's feelings or offend them. If my contact with a person is limited, I usually remain quote-unquote shy for the entire duration of our meetings. Those that have delved further know that probably all too well how narcissistic and opinionated, loud, stubborn, and possibly here I am trying to read my own writing, self-listic that I really am. I think if I could remember that shy person they first met, they would rather have him around instead of this madman that they actually do know. Sorry for those that feel this way. Close friends have found out the hard way that this gene doesn't go back into a bottle, and it frustrates the hell out of them when they see me acting shy around people I don't know. Back to being fearless. I have to admit, it's rarely been a good thing, or at least good things are a way overshadowed by the detriment that it causes. Using Steve Irwin as another example of a fearless person, I have been bit numerous times for not using caution. In fact, I was probably one of the biggest reasons. He had been bit numerous times for not using caution, not me, him. In fact, it was probably the biggest reasons why he became so famous, but this overshadowed by the fact that his lack of fear was a major contributor to his demise. Long before Steve Irwin became famous, there was Jackie Chan, a stuntman. Because he was fearless, became famous. Jackie Chan is the exception, almost an enigma for people who are fearless. Those who don't know fear usually die, and usually die very young. Hell, I gave myself until only 18 years old. I believe the only reason I'm still alive is because I had a person in my life who stopped me, made me rethink the value of my actions in terms of it, and the task, whether it was worth my life. I still did take a lot of unnecessary risk. And sometimes I didn't even realize I couldn't see past the risk. I couldn't see how risky I was taking things. Even after Spaceship Two crashed, even knowing this, and if I were asked to pilot the same type of spacecraft under the same conditions, I wouldn't hesitate to do it. If they recommissioned one of the space shuttles and told me that there was a 90% chance that the mission would end in failure, I would still already be suiting up for it. Because going into space is that important to me. I don't care about the fame or even the fortune, only going up and making a dream, and a dream would be complete. If I could step into another world, this is why I would walk in front of cars that should have already stopped on my way to work, because I believe I do not have to stop myself. Not because I'm suicidal or want to get hit, but because I'm truly not afraid, and I just want them to stop and let me pass. I don't force them to slam on their brakes, because if they did hit me, I believe it would bring me further away from my ultimate goal, and that is the only reason. Yeah, so I'm not phobophobic. And when somebody told me that you're afraid, I thought it was being afraid to actually be afraid. But the thing is that that would mean that you have those fears. You're just more paralyzed in your life. It means you have these phobias and you'd be more paralyzed in your life to express that you're afraid of them. A person can't function being phobophobic. Remember, this is December 24th, 2014. In the spirit of Festivus, the last night of Hanukkah, Christmas Eve, the second 2 days before Kwanzaa, 3 days after winter solstice, and every other holiday that was created to prevent the misery as the year ends, I want to talk about hope. There is a reason I haven't changed my last name. There is a reason I haven't changed my last name to Star Killer, Gort, or even back to Parker, my birth name. It's not because I'm lazy or can't be bothered, or I feel that I have some strange relationship with the Hope Diamond. The reason is because the word suits me. And to have it as my last name is my own little inside joke that wherever I am, everyone around me has hope. Hope is defined as a feeling of expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen. It's a feeling of trust, an aspiration, desire, wish, expectation, ambition, aim, goal, plan, design, or even a dream. When I break hope down, it's pretty cool. For example, if hell exists, I would be the first thing that everyone abandons before they enter. If I went to hell, the devil will never take hope away from me, and possibly it could never allow me to enter. I can't abandon hope because I am hope. The other thing about hope is that it is always at the start, and it is always carried all the way through to the very end of any journey, project, love, recognition, or unknown. Everyone uses hope, even if they don't want to admit it, unless of course you are dead. Hope themes across all cultures, spiritual endeavors, plays a role with all luck and every single discovery. Even when everything seems lost, hope can be the only thing that keeps a person going for one more day, hour, minute, or even a second. Hope is certainly more powerful and plays a larger role in my life than Starkiller could ever. This is why I keep hope. This is why I share it unconditionally. This is my core being, the bare bones philosophy for everything that I have, what keeps me striving for better until the moment after I take my last breath. I have been lost many times, but I have never lost hope or myself. When I was a child, I was always told that I was building castles in the sky. I actually wish this was true. This statement always perplexed or at least contradicted when I was told to dream big, hold on to those dreams. It always seemed that my big dreams were the very castles without foundations that they were talking about. It has taken years, and I've said this many times, to understand or conclude that everyone else doesn't think the way I do, and I should stop expecting them to. It is always easy for me to disregard those that expect me to think like them, and even when they are yelling so loud that they are spitting in my face and making my ears bleed. I hate to say it, but that was a wasted effort. I change, grow, and learn on my own terms. It doesn't matter how much a person can ramp up the volume, smash, break things, grit their teeth, or try to harm me. I will never bend to threats, punishment, attempts at terror, or even blackmail. If I don't believe that it is in my best interest to do so, hope can be very stubborn, and so am I. For this time of the year, the holiday season, we can always use more hope. And though we might not be getting any of the things that we want, we already have everything that we need. Hope. I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday and celebrated with just the right amount of love and caring. Alright, I admit it. You can never spoil the recipe with too much of those two things. Love and caring, you can't add too much of it. You can't have too much of it. You can't give too much of it. And there is no person on earth that can receive too much love. As time never stops moving forward, we are about to ring in another year that will always need to be a little bit more understanding, less intolerance. Take care, be loved, and always remember, there is hope. I am right here. Christmas Day, December 25th, 2014. Let's end Seanisms where they begin. Seanisms can only be possible with my name, Sean. The online Urban Dictionary describes Sean as a huge sarcastic asshole that ends up being amazingly sweet. Sean knows exactly how to piss you off, and then 5 seconds later, you are cracking up. Huge jerks, but you gotta love them. You'd actually think that they wrote this specifically about me. I mean, seriously. Did I actually meet the person who came up with this? I actually think that it would be very cool to hear that someone say to say to someone else, you're being such a Sean. Actually, we found out that it was not gift of God. Uh, I gotta stick with what I'm doing. I only have 8 minutes left. Moving on to the real meaning, as a gift from God, or as all definitions describe Sean, the Irish name for John. Can you blame me for preferring the Urban Dictionary definition over the real one? Having me believe that someone thinks that you are the most common name imaginable except with Irish flair. The true history of the name, and yes, it's Gaelic. It's like the children of the Fae, and the presence invoking the name Sean is supposed to be to bring fortune to a person, but at a price. Take into account the Gaelic traditions didn't come from God of the Trinity. Sean's existed long before the Romans were brought it to the island. The correct pronunciation of my name is not Sean, it's actually Sion. But with a thick Irish accent, it comes out as Sean. Sean is basically how it's pronounced. Sean. Sean, 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 Sean. Sean, Sean, Sean. Like that. So Sean is what it actually becomes. To most untrained ears. On the story of how I came to possess such an incredibly name, partly because I'm more Spanish than Irish with my heritage, I would have to start with the best James Bond actor, Sean Connery, which I was always told is exactly where my name comes from, but it's not as simple as my mom watched Thunderball, give me the actor's name. No, it's actually because I was supposed to be a girl, and the doctor who delivered two of my brothers, most of my cousins, as well as a large section of my family in his career as a doctor around that time I was born, there weren't any fancy indicators determining the sex of a child. But the doctor who delivered me was wrong only once with his prediction of gender, and that would be with me. I was also born prematurely, because either my heart did actually stop, or the inconfidence of finding my heartbeat. My mom had labor induced, and I was supposed to be a stillborn baby girl. I was neither. I was also, as the joke goes, born with an IUD in my hand, but that's another story for a later time. In any event, my mom didn't expect to have or give me a boy's name, and that's where Mr. Connery comes in. I own this name in all its incarnations of it. This is a major part of my identity. So much of who I am, good, bad, ugly, or beautiful. I never wanted any other name. I don't want to imagine my life without it. One of the few things I don't think fifth dimensionally about. So when someone puts my full name together, it's the gift of fortune that provides is hope, and my price, or what I take away, is ignorance. Not good enough? Let's do better. I'm a sarcastic jerk that keeps other people holding on to their dreams even when it seems that I'm trying to pull those dreams away. I am Sean Hope. I would like to thank everyone, even or especially the intolerant ones. I couldn't have asked for a better gift to receive than knowledge that this is a world that thinks differently than myself. I'm challenged every day, and I'm always discovering new things about myself and this crazy world around me. And hopefully I get more time to continue to be excited and laugh a whole lot. I thank you for being you, and I would like to think that you enjoyed reading a little bit about me. If you didn't, why did you even bother to read to this point? My life is too short to be doing something that you aren't enjoying, especially since I'm not paying you to read this. Either way, the show's over and was a heck of a lot of fun for me, and for the simple fact that I was writing and gave myself quick, achievable deadlines. I think I can handle this pace for yet another book. Have a Merry Christmas, one and all, and brace yourself for yet another exciting new year. I have a few more minutes to go. And that's the last post of the year. December 25th was the last time I posted it's the last time I posted in 2014. I am pretty much done. I know that I'm looking for this thing. I'm glad that 2014 is over. I already used up my Santa Claus picture, which I wanted to use for this. You're not going to get another. I'm going to probably, crash right through that. I don't have any. I didn't do this again. I didn't do something like this again for a long time, and only a few years back did I do for Women's History Month. I did something special for Women's History Month. And I think that was the last time I really did. Yeah, so I'm pretty much done with this. Sorry it wasn't live. I know so many people wanted to join the chat. I could premiere it. It's already 7:30, and here I am just scrolling. Yeah, no need to scroll. So we're gonna start this off. We're gonna start it off with 2015. It actually doesn't look like there's very much. I should probably go pretty quickly through this. Yeah, I'm gonna end it with because this is. Yeah, I talk about doing the making of the book, but we're gonna end this at January 1st, 2015, and all I said was have a wonderful and safe and healthy, happy New Year, everyone. That was it. So we're going to end right there. Yeah. This is pretty crazy. Alright. Anyway, I should probably get going since I'm looking at these old things. Cool beans. We're done.